that I created a problem in Kenya, and I take responsibility. But I've also told the people of Kenya, now that I admit I made a great mistake in creating the problem, the mistake called William Ruto, the greatest lie ever in the history of Kenya. For me to redeem my image, I must play an even greater role in correcting that problem by making sure William Ruto is one term. As to the problems that are in the country as his deputy, we had no role. William Ruto is a one-man show. He runs the government single-handedly. And you can see, like now, he's doing roadside declarations. Yesterday he was in Vihiga, and somebody there, an MP, complained about fees for IDs. And then he made a declaration there that there will be no more fees without consulting the policy makers, without talking to anybody. That's a mess we are in the country. The other day you saw teachers come to State House for bribes. And then he made a unilateral declaration that 20% of those houses will go to teachers without talking to the minister, without talking to the directors, without talking to the people who made this policy. That's the way this country is run. You know, that is the way this country is run. And therefore, I absolve myself from any blame, because when I realized that as deputy I had no role, the ministers had no role, the PSs had no role, I started having a fight with him within, until it reached a place we could not agree, and he made a decision to throw me out, which is okay, you know. But I realized, and after the first 1 year, that the Kenya government, led by William Ruto, had become a criminal enterprise. Theft of public resources, misappropriation of funds, decisions that are of commercial interest to him and his family. And I couldn't take it, because that is not what he had told me when we were forming government. That is not what he had told the people of Kenya. If you look at this decision to sell Kenya Pipeline is valued at 600 billion. It's being sold for 100 billion, you know? And the valuation has not included land in Mombasa that is worth about 40 billion. And this company is being bought by a Nigerian who is an in-law to President William Ruto. And that I know, because I was there. And I had refused when the matter was brought to the cabinet committee that I chaired. How do you sell strategic installations of the country? You know, fuel is something that is very sensitive. How do you put the country's oil reservoirs in private hands? What if there is sabotage and the country comes to a stop? But because he has a commercial interest himself, you know, today, Dennis, tea farmers are up in arms. I was in charge of tea reforms and things were going on very well. A single decision by William Ruto to do business with the rebel movement in Sudan, the RSF of Hemeti, who is a business partner of William Ruto. The government of Sudan made a decision to ban the importation of Kenyan tea. As a result of that ban, we have not been able to sell our tea in good prices. What is the result? The prices of tea have gone down. Farmers across the country, including his home in Kericho and Bomet, where he comes from, his kinsmen, they are up in arms. And it's a simple personal decision that because he wants to deal with the gold with Sudan and give them arms in exchange to kill women and children, then we cannot sell our tea. And because we cannot sell our tea, our prices have gone down. Then the farmers are crying across the country. So these are the things that I saw along the way. And I said, no, I can't have this. I'm not a con man. How do we con the people of Kenya? We promised to have a bottom-up economic transformation agenda. We promised to put money into people's pockets. Then the little that they have, we remove it, you know? So I am saying that the Kenya government, run by William Ruto, is a criminal enterprise. State House is a crime scene. You have seen State House now has lost dignity. Bribery takes place, you know, in broad daylight, you know, and he doesn't care really. He really doesn't care. All money that was meant for capitation, schools are shutting down. That money has been diverted to State House to bribe people. Money meant for health has been diverted. Lecturers have not been paid. This money is what is being carried in sacks, in choppers across the country. I was unable to be part of that criminal enterprise. And Kenyans must forgive me for that, because that's not what we promised the people of Kenya. We had promised the people of Kenya that we are people's government, that we are going to serve in humility, we are going to make people's lives better, we are going to make people to improve their welfare, we are going to have ease of doing business. But where we are, my friend, the country is on its knees.
We talk about privatization of state resources. You've mentioned KPC to be specific. You say that the valuation was not considered, that this is business because the person who's to buy it is President William Ruto's son-in-law. What evidence do you have to show?
He looked for me.
Absence of evidence showing that you have these as a fact remains being hearsay. As well, you say you are inside as deputy and you knew about this. Why speak now?
I have been speaking, and anything I've told Kenyans have come to pass. Anything I've said. I said about Bomas of Kenya, it has come to pass. I said about RSF, it has come to pass. I said President William Ruto has appointed drug barons into his cabinet. I have been vindicated the day before yesterday. Drugs are being smuggled through JKIA.
Who in his cabinet is in charge of that?
You have seen the photographs. The people who are smuggling drugs through the airport, you have seen their photographs with the cabinet minister. And everybody knows that cabinet minister who is a drug baron. There are two. And I asked William Ruto, he had put me in charge of fighting drugs and alcoholism. When he was appointing these two ministers, I asked him, Mr. President, where does that leave me? How do I continue with this war on drug abuse when I'll be sitting in the same cabinet with the drug barons? That expose that has happened at the airport, if William Ruto has any decorum remaining, he must sack that minister. The evidence is there. The people who are smuggling drugs through JKI, the photographs with his minister is there. And you can see clearly that the minister is actually the one who is facilitating, you know, the peddling of the smuggling of drugs through the airport, because the drugs that have been caught, the documentation was saying that they are minerals that are going for testing. So the ministry is being used for drug trafficking because the minister has been a drug baron, and it is in public domain. Everybody knows. There is nobody in this country who doesn't know. But William Ruto has no qualm. Because of his own business interest with that minister and the deals they are doing together, he has no qualms about appointing a fellow involved in drugs to the cabinet when our children are in trouble. How does William Ruto face parents today? And you know, he was telling parents that they are responsible for bad upbringing. When he has appointed ministers who are peddling drugs, they are sitting in his cabinet. When now there is evidence that that minister and his associates are involved in drug trafficking, how does he face parents and accuse them of bad upbringing when his minister, who is his business partner, is involved in drug peddling, cocaine, hard drugs in this country? These are some of the things, Dennis, that got me very tired. And today, in fact, I feel very relieved I'm not part of that government. I don't know how I'll be able now. This week, I would have gone to cabinet after what happened at JKIA. I don't know how I would have gone to sit in that cabinet with that minister when I was in charge of fighting drugs and alcoholism on behalf of government, and then I have to sit with the minister who is facilitating drug trafficking in the country.
You've painted a lot of negativity and negative things that are happening with the current government, and in that there is now the united opposition that is coming forth and saying we want to form the next government. Let's speak about DCP as a party. And DCP is seen as it is a party that solely belongs to the Mount Kenya region. You, Rigathi Gachagua, has been accused of being a tribalist. How would you shake that, knowing that Kenyans are saying you only speak about the mountain and nowhere else?
Nobody has accused me of tribalism other than William Ruto. The only tribal thing regarding AJAABU has done is to speak Kikuyu in meetings. When I was looking for votes for William Ruto, I used to speak Kikuyu and I was smiling. Because I don't have to speak to the Kikuyu people in English because they are not Englishmen. They are Kikuyus. And the fact that I'm a national leader has not changed my identity. William Ruto practices tribalism. The other day we were in Ukambani. He sacked the CEO of Kentraco and replaced with his own tribesmen. If you look at the composition of the CEOs in the country, out of about 250, 92 are from his ethnic community. If you look at all the businesses that have been given in this country, he has given to his tribesmen. If you check, they have advertised for police recruitment, about 10,000 positions. Yet, in every sub-county, in every constituency, they are taking 5. 290 times 5 is less than 2,000. 8,000 positions he is taking and giving his tribesmen. He has been doing the same thing for the military. I was there, I saw it, for the teachers. That is a man who practices tribalism throughout. If you look at Nairobi, the composition of officer commanding police stations, out of 14 police stations in Nairobi, 9 are from his tribe. Despite the fact that his tribe, in terms of numbers, in terms of percentage, they're just down there. So you cannot tell me because William Ruto says I'm tribal. My party, DCP, is a national party. I have a very strong candidate in Magarini, in Kilifi. Kilifi is not in Kirinyaga, it's not in Nyandarua. That is in Coast Province. I have a candidate in Narok Township Ward, in Narok. That is not in Nyeri. I have a candidate in Puruko Ward, in Kajiado. That is not Muranga. I have a candidate in Malava, in Kakamega. That is not Nyanyuki. My deputy party leader, Cleo Malala, is from Kakamega. Kakamega is not Nyeri. The chairman, national chairman, is from Kajiado. Deputy Secretary General is from Narok. Deputy Secretary General in charge of strategy, Owino Mabli, is from Kisumu. Ours is a national party. It's only that because William Ruto sees me there, he sees the Kikuyu whom he hates, despite the fact that they made him president. And when we made him president, we knew he was not one of our own. He has hated us because we have refused to give him our vote. Our vote we give willingly to people who respect us and people who are truthful and people who don't misuse us and people who don't abuse us when we tell him we will not give you our vote. He has been trying to mobilize the rest of the country against us, and therefore we are through with him. That does not make us tribal. In any case, we have many other friends that we are working with. We don't have to work with him, and it cannot be because we supported him. If we don't feel like supporting him and we can support somebody else, we become tribal. We can support anybody else. We can support Kalonzo Musyoka. We can support Fred Matiang'i. We can support Eugene Wamalwa. We can support George Natebea. We can support Seki. We can support Mohamed Ali from Nyali. We have no contract with William Ruto that is binding, that because we voted for him in 2022, we must always vote for him. There is no such contract. And I want to tell him, sorry, you feel bad that we have left you. You made the bed, you lie on it. We had loved you, we had respected you, we had given you our votes, we had trusted you. You betrayed us. You cheated us. You took advantage of our ignorance in terms we did not know you well. We chose you without knowing you well. And that was a mistake that we made. And it's a mistake we shall never repeat again. We will never vote for anybody that we don't know properly. We must do due diligence to know who you are, what you say about us when we are not there, and how you have been, what is your history. Those are mistakes that we made, and we are paying the price. And we have accepted that we made great mistakes, but we are saying we have learned from those mistakes. We will not repeat again. My friend, DCP is a national party. And let me tell you, it is a party that William Ruto fears. All these other parties that are in opposition, their meetings are never interrupted. It's only my meetings. He sends goons and police to beat me up, to beat up my members of parliament.
What evidence do you have to show that it is President William Ruto who sends goons to your meetings?
But these goons are escorted by police. I am an opponent of William Ruto. Why would police have anything against me? They take instructions from William Ruto. And DCP is his nightmare. And that is why in Banisa, we had a very strong candidate called Adan, and he was going to win that seat. Ruto called him and really gave him a dress down and intimidated him and threatened him until he had to abandon.
But the man you talk about came out and said that negotiated democracy that takes place in the northern part of the country and that his community advised.
But State House is not State House is not northern Kenya.
Belong to northeastern. His people from northeastern told him to leave the seat for the other person. Why
that is what he said in public.
That
is what he said in public. But what he told me in private, including the messages he sent me, I'll show them the message to you. He was thoroughly intimidated. Thoroughly intimidated. William Ruto fears DCP because it's a party of the people. We listen to the ground. It's a serious party with very serious support across the country because we align ourselves with the aspirations of the Kenyan people. And you will see with these by-elections, DCP is not regional. Of course, it has very strong in the mountain because that's where it came from. But equally, it has support across the country. Yeah.
The return of former President Uhuru Kenyatta in the political scene, the recently held Jubilee NDC, seems as though it appears as though it is the next big party in the mountain. Does that shake DCP's presence in the mountain?
Well, there is nothing of worry to anybody. And I have seen a narrative people are trying to drive that there could be conflict between me and President Uhuru Kenyatta. Far from it. That is just diversion to try to slow down the one-term movement and bring sideshows of issues that are non-existent. From where I sit and as far as I know, and it's in public knowledge, President Uhuru Kenyatta, the fourth President of the Republic of Kenya, is retired. He's enjoying his retirement. And he cannot be president again. Rigathi Gachagua wants to be president of Kenya. Hence, there can be no conflict whatsoever between Rigathi Gachagua and President Uhuru Kenyatta. What will be the source of the conflict? One is a retired president, the other one wants to be president. So I don't know what people are talking about. How would he threaten my bid for president unless he is opposing me? And constitutionally, he has done his 2 terms. So he cannot be my opponent. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a non-issue. I don't even know where the matter has come from. I have not heard Uhuru Kenyatta saying I should not be president. I have not heard him asking people not to elect me as president. I don't know where these things are coming from. As far as I'm concerned, there's no issue, absolutely. We have 2 leaders here. One is the past, the other one is the present and the future. What conflict would there be?
Jubilee says it might be going alone, that it might be coming up with its own presidential candidate. And Jubilee, with its base and its stronghold as well being the mountain, it is seen as though it is bringing the challenge on DCP, and others, critics have said that this is meant to divide the mountain because we have 2 parties that come from the mountain. What would be your response to that?
Let me first and foremost, Dennis, if you allow me, at the risk of being accused of always talking about the mountain, educate you a little bit. The mountain is a very important vote for this country, in that whoever it has supported has become president. William Ruto became president courtesy of the mountain vote. The mountain vote gave him 47% of what made him president. Without it, he would not have been president. Okay? So it's a vote that is critical. It's a vote that made Uhuru Kenyatta president, it made Mwai Kibaki president, it made William Ruto president. When Ruto hounded me out of office, the people of the mountain sat me down and gave me certain directions. The people of the mountain, I don't know about the rest of Kenyans well. I cannot speak for them because I don't know. The mountain people take no direction from any leader. No leader can tell them what to do.
Not even you?
Not even me. They decide what they want, and then a clever leader aligns with them immediately. If you ask President Uhuru Kenyatta, he will tell you. He told them to vote for Raila Odinga, they told him no. We have already decided to vote for William Ruto. That is a mountain for you. So saying that if Uhuru comes, he can divide the mountain, I don't know, Gachagua, let me tell you. 3 things have been decided in that mountain. 3 things. Not regarding Gachagua, not Uhuru Kenyatta can change what has been decided. And if you decide to change, you lose the people immediately and they become antagonistic towards you. The mountain people have made 3 key decisions. 1, that they wake up early in the morning to a man to send William Ruto home for betraying them, misusing them, and mobilizing other Kenyans against them, destroying their businesses and making life miserable for them. That decision has been made. Today, if I made a stupid decision to support William Ruto, I'll go alone to William Ruto. The mountain would abandon me in the morning without any shame. I'll be on my own. If Uhuru Kenyatta made a mistake and said, let's support William Ruto, he will be abused from morning to evening and nobody will listen to him. That is 1. 2, the mountain have learned from the past that a divided mountain is useless politically. Okay? And in 1992, Moi divided them to their disadvantage. Since then, they made a decision. They will never go to a vote divided. So a decision has been made in the mountain that nobody can divide that mountain. They'll vote one basket. If Rigathi Gachagua is candidate, he'll get all the votes. If he is not, and somebody else has been agreed on for united opposition, they'll give those votes to that person in total. That decision has been made. Uhuru Kenyatta cannot change it. Rigathi Gachagua cannot change it. 3, they say the mistake they made was to go to a wedding using the vehicle of somebody else. It was a great mistake for the people of the Mount Kenya region to elect William Ruto as president without their political party. They are paying for that mistake, and a decision was made, and I was instructed to form a new political party for the mountain and then look for other Kenyans to join that party. There were more than 30 political parties in the mountain. The people never told me to get any old one there and revive it. They were very clear. Create a new political party, look for other friends as a vehicle for the mountain to go to the elections, and they will never support anybody who is not from the mountain or his party. They'll use their party to support whoever they want or support one of their own in their own party. And they said they will elect everybody in that party. That decision has been made. President Uhuru Kenyatta cannot change it. Rigathi Gachagua cannot change it. So this debate I am seeing, Uhuru has come, the mountain can be divided, it's nonsense. Sijui Jubilee can compete with this piece, nonsense. Let me tell you, my brother, William Ruto is not sleeping. He has known that the mountain vote is against him, and he has decided, since he is unable to get that vote back, he must do whatever it takes to divide it. He has spent billions of shillings, 0. He has tried to divide Mount Kenya East and West, 0. He has tried to tell the people of Kiambu to leave the mountain, 0. He has bought many people and planted them into us in the opposition. People are picking them out one by one. Every day they say that is a mole, that is a Kasongo man, that one is a green wheelbarrow. They know. Nobody can divide the mountain, and I'm not even bothered. I don't even have to do anything about it myself, because that is a decision that has been made by the mountain and nobody can change it. And so that talk about that because of President Uhuru Kenyatta probably is coming, we can divide the mountain, I don't see it. And I don't think, the way I know President Uhuru Kenyatta, as having served under him for a long time and having understood the way he thinks, I don't think he will do anything to try to divide the mountain vote, because he knows it will be disastrous for the mountain politically. Number two, he knows that if people ever suspected that he is trying to create a division within the mountain, they would hate him. I don't think Uhuru Kenyatta would ever go into that direction. I am persuaded that he is innocent of those accusations, and I don't think he will try to do it.
It has been said that with the decision that the mountain has decided to go with, say, DCP, and you become the kingpin or the spokesperson of the mountain, that there is a risk, or they see it as though you will use these votes as a negotiating power, that they would not even be surprised if you would work with President William Ruto and give him your support because you have the numbers, or get to government using the back door, the same way Raila Odinga has.
They are right. They are absolutely right. A political party is for forming government or getting into government, and that is why they asked me to form a strong political party to make sure we are not in the situation we are in. If we had our own political party, Ruto would not shortchange us. He would not mistreat the mountain the way he's doing today. So they are right. This party is for forming government and bargaining into government. Okay?
Would you bargain
as
with
to who we can bargain with, that is a decision the people of Mount Kenya will make. But I can tell you from what they have told me, William Ruto is not part of that equation. We have no intention whatsoever to have any discussion, any negotiation with one William Ruto. However, we are open and willing to work with any other Kenyan of acceptable, good character, and who means well for the mountain, and whom we have checked and confirmed that he cannot turn against us and he cannot harm us the way William Ruto is doing. So in terms of saying we want a strong party to bargain into government, true, it is true. But we cannot bargain with William Ruto. We can bargain with anybody else. And that one we are willing to do. And they are right. Yes.
So as we talk about forming the next government, a united opposition is important in that. And I want to ask you your association with one Fred Matiang'i. Is he still part of the united opposition?
Yes, Fred Matiang'i is a good guy. He worked well with President Uhuru Kenyatta, and he made significant contribution to this country. And when he came from the US, I had several private meetings with him, and he expressed his desire to join us so that we create the change that we desire for this country. And he expressed his interest to serve as president if we can support him. And we welcomed him, and we had good discussion. And I believe he still remains very committed to that cause. And when he came, he found we had already started the opposition, and we were getting on. And we did brief him where we had reached. And we did it's an alliance of regions, and to defeat William Ruto, we need to work around the clock. And by the time he came, we had already agreed on a formula. Martha Karua, J.B. Muturi, Mithika Linturi, and I had been allocated to deal with the Mount Kenya region in terms of making sure we solidify the nation and we chase Ruto and Raila from the region, which we have done successfully. Eugene Wamarwa, Cleo Malala, and George Natebea, we agreed they work on Western Kenya, and they make sure that they lock out William Ruto and Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, to work on because we had a gap in the Gusii nation. And we told him right to the sword, he was in agreement, that politics is local, and he is more suitable to deal with the Gusii nation than ourselves because he understands the place better. So we did request that, just like we had done with other regions, he goes and work on the Gusii nation, which is already one term. Matiang'i has been busy trying to get a political party, organize structures and all that. And I think with time we'll be able to get to meetings and continue with what we are doing. So I've seen a lot of nonsense.